Hello, what's up guys? So guy Promzy once again, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we are going to talk about internship, thesis and full-time job application. My experience when I was applying for these three and some tips that I have for you if you're applying for either your internship, your thesis, or you're looking for a full-time job as an international student in Germany. So I'm about to hit the road, so let's continue the rest of this video in the car. I'm just sharing my experience that I went through applying for thesis, internship and full-time job here in Germany as an international student. Also, I would like to say I'm not an expert in this field because going through application for me myself is stressful, but I'm just sharing this experience because I've been through it and I wish I knew certain things that I got to know later on during my application phase. So I'm not here to say that I know my stuff 100% because if I'm supposed to reapply for a job or something, I'll still go through the ups and downs. Okay, so what is much more difficult to secure? A job, a thesis, or an internship? From my experience, personal experience, it was easier for me to get a full-time job than to get an internship, which is usually not the case because securing a full-time job is usually much more difficult. But whilst I was applying for internship, I got full-time jobs. By that time I was a student, so I couldn't forgo my studies and go for the full-time job. And after my internship, I got full-time job right after. So personally, it was much difficult for me to secure an internship than to secure a full-time job. But usually, applying for a job is much more difficult than an internship. But like I said, from experience wise, it was much more difficult to secure an internship than to secure my full-time job. I think the most difficult one is securing a thesis with a company, especially from my experience in Germany. I was never able to get a thesis with a company. So I ended up doing my thesis with the university, which is not bad, but I really wanted to do it with a company. But usually the universities like it when students do their thesis with them because it helps with academic research and stuff. And two, it's with the companies. Most companies, especially with the big companies and in tech, don't really want their technologies to be out there. So usually when it comes to thesis, there are some conditions that the students have to agree to, some NDAs and stuff, and this has to be agreed both by the university and the student. So sometimes the student is willing to do the research with that population, but the university sometimes doesn't agree. For me, I would say thesis, applying for a thesis in Germany as an international student in a company is extremely difficult because also sometimes the companies, they want a very specific skill. You could have Java, you could know Python, know a lot of programming language, but if the thesis you are going in for requires a specific programming language and you do not have that on your CV, they are not going to take you. So from my experience, applying for thesis is extremely difficult because I don't have a lot of experience with that. I tried that, I did a lot of interviews. I wasn't able to secure a thesis with a company, so I don't have a lot of experience with that. Nevertheless, the application process is just as applying for an internship and also applying for a full-time job. Now let's talk about internship, where I have some form of experience. So if you've been following my channel from the beginning, you know I did my internship in BMW and I also did my internship at Tesla. So I would say I have some form of experience. The first one that I would like to say is doing an internship in Germany is a decision because the process is not very easy. Like the number of rejection is extremely high. So you have to decide that you want to do an internship in Germany. Like you have to make that conscious decision that I want to do an internship in Germany. It's usually not by luck that people get internship position. People have to really put in the work day in, day out. So I would like to say if you're applying for internship and you're not getting, you're not the only one. There are a lot of rejections. I just don't know why, but the rate of rejection is extremely high, at least from my experience. How to go about it? I would say if you have a year to apply for internship, you should use majority of the time to really work on your CV. If you get rejected from a company that you really like, you should reach out to them and honestly seek feedback. I did that a couple of times. Most of the companies don't reply, but at least for me, I was able to get some replies at the beginning of my internship application, and that helped me as well. So work on your CV, reach out to people, and apply for the jobs. Okay, so with the internship application, from my experience, usually there are a lot of opportunities during the winter semester, the beginning of the winter semester. I did my internship twice in Germany, and with all of them, I got opportunities during the winter semester. The first one I started in September, and the second one I started in October. That means application for internship was usually during the June, July month, but this is no golden rule. This is what I've observed from my experience. You can still apply for internship year around, whenever. But this has been my observation when applying for internship. One of the easiest way to secure any position, internship or thesis or even a full-time job is through referral programs. If you know someone in any of these companies that you really want to work with, it's much easier if the person refers you. It makes the recruitment process somehow less stressful for both the recruiter and the applicant. But if you don't know anyone, or if you don't have any contact, then you can also just apply as like any other person. With all the positions that I got in Germany when I was a student, I just applied for them. I just chanced on them on the internet, of course, researching for this position and put in the application. The language. How important is the language when it comes to job application and internship application? Of course, it plays a crucial role. If you know the language, it gives you upper hand. Now you are not only applying for English positions, you can also apply for position that requires German as well. So it makes your options a little bit much better and wider. Nevertheless, if you don't know the language, you can still apply, but now your focus will be much more on English position or international position, and the competition there is a little bit tougher. So
in 2 kilometers, take exit 82 on the right towards A2, Hanover.
So as an international student, like I've said over and over again, make it a conscious effort to learn the language, especially if you are in academia or if you're here for your studies and you would like to work afterwards, which I know a lot of people would like to. It doesn't mean if you don't know the language, you wouldn't get a job, but it's much more difficult securing a job without the language. Okay, so big companies or small companies? For me, I always go for the big companies. Applying for internship in Germany is, like I said before,
now take exit 82 on the right.
It's difficult. Applying for internship in Germany,
in 300 meters, take the A2 slip road on the right towards Hanover, Bielefeld.
Applying for internship in Germany is this difficult.
Now take the A2
Applying
slip
for
road
internship
right.
in Germany in big companies is a little bit much more difficult than smaller companies. But I really wanted to work in big companies. I don't like small companies. I don't like family groups and stuff. I really like big companies, probably from my experience working in a big company in Ghana during my national service. So I just like big companies. So I was willing to put in the extra effort to secure an internship in a company that I vibe with, like in an industry that I like, and also in a much more bigger company. Are there really downsides for aiming at big companies or smaller companies? Since I haven't had the experience to work in a smaller company, I'm just sharing what I got on the internet. So in smaller company, I learned it's easier to build relationship, and you also learn a lot of stuff in smaller companies since it's not already established. Even though you could be an engineer, but you could also have tax on the side in finance and other stuff, and it kind of makes you learn very fast than in bigger companies. For me, I always usually go in for the bigger company because it makes the switch to a smaller company a little bit much easier if you've done your internship in KPMG and later you want to go into a smaller company. Just because you've worked in KPMG before, they assume you've required some of the skills linked to the company, you know, like doing an internship, an engineering internship in Mercedes-Benz and later going in for a smaller company. It's much easier from my perspective than moving from a very small company to Mercedes-Benz. So that's why I always go in for the bigger company. It's a little bit much more difficult, but it's not out of reach. Sometimes we see this company as if the people who work there are, how do you call it, rocket scientists, but they are also fresh students who have no experience, who just put in the effort, show the passion and secure this position as well. The position I got in BMW, I didn't have any experience in it. I applied for the job with a lot of curiosity and passion because it was an industry that I really liked, the automobile industry, and I got it. I didn't get it because I had prior knowledge, but I got it because I didn't see the company as way bigger than I am. So that's one thing I would like to say. Big companies, for me, big companies over small company. I'm always willing to put in the extra work to secure a job in a much bigger company or in a company that I like or in a brand that I like than to just secure a position in any other company because I underestimated my potential or myself. Let's talk about full-time job. Full-time job. The easiest way to get a full-time job is converting your internship to a full-time job. Because if you are interning in a company and you put in the work and they see your work and they see that you're very committed, there's no reason converting you from an intern to a full-time job than to go and hire a new person that they don't know the person's commitment or the person's capacity. So I think one of the easiest way to get a full-time job is through internship. It's not always the case because sometimes the market could be rough. You could be the best of the best but still might not be able to secure a full-time job because the market is low or that's not the company's focus at the moment. But nevertheless, it's still one of the easiest ways to get a full-time job from my experience. Two, I would say through referrals. If you know someone working in a company that you like to work with, reach out to them professionally. It could be a friend also, and the person can refer you. Know that people just don't refer anyone on the internet. They usually have to have some form of relationship with you, have worked with you or went to school with you and can vouch for you one way or the other. Cold emails. Cold emails also work. When I was applying for my current position, I was an intern in this company and I sent a lot of cold emails to people around. Hey, my name is this, this, my skills, I'm working at the moment on this project and I would like to work in your department. If there is a position open, I would like to interview. I did that a lot and that's what helped me get my current position that I am in now. So yes, cold emails also work. So let's talk about qualitative or quantitative. Which one is better? Putting in few quality applications or putting in a lot of trash? Definitely a lot of trash is no go. However, I wouldn't say put in just few quality applications because with the rejection rate in Germany or from my experience, sometimes your application could be top notch but still get rejected. I would say put in a lot of quality applications. Unless you're an A student, then you can apply for 5 companies or to 5 companies. But from my experience, put in a lot of quality application. I know people who apply for tens, hundreds of companies before they got their first interview. Sometimes it's not just that they are rejecting, like said, sometimes your CV could be way not good or worse, or sometimes your cover letter is not tailored to that particular position that you're applying for. You are using generic cover letters. So I would say if you're applying for internship, thesis, or a full-time job, don't give up, because I've been there. I know how difficult it is, but if you put in the work, it will surely pay off. Okay guys, we've come to the end of this video. I hope you find this video very educative and informative. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and put a nice comment in the comment section below. Like always, the name is Promzy and I'm signing out. Peace.